This is Rod Kusin Spooman for Risk on February 27th. We are heading down to 72.75. Big short signals on the premium this morning, and so doing an ABC projection, that's where we would expect this to be heading before it really begins to think twice. And of course, looking at the premium, get it up here. There we go. You see what happened here. So, although quite candidly, I was long in here, and I had a trailing stop, and man, did we get stopped out. But at least we didn't lose any money on that trade. Nevertheless, I had to get in short again here because this is, whoa, that is so obvious, what was happening here. And so trying to find where is the bottom, where is this headed, at least for the time being. We did an ABC retracement, and I'll come back to that in a second. But when we broke the trend line in the overnight market, this told me, all right, well, we're probably going to head up a little bit before we head down. And that's indeed what happened, but I thought we would test that. And that's why I remained long. Going long and then shorting it off of the top here, somewhere in here, that's what we figured. And the premium, look at what the premium told you. All right. On your way up here, there was just no other way to interpret this other than long. Now, yes, as you got up to this point here, yeah, you had, there was a little bit of divergence, but look at over here, okay? That's really, I mean, that's, you had a new high on the premium here, and there was no divergence up here. So I'm figuring, all right, we're going back there. So we get long in here to ride this thing up to here, and it fails. So that's where we think this is going. And there's, no way to interpret that in any other fashion at the moment. Now look at the lows here. All right, got a lower low here. If from the standpoint of this to this, yeah, you got some divergence, but there's not enough there. And furthermore, it doesn't even look like an area that would produce any kind of significant buying. So we're short, and we're going to stay that way, at least for a while. We'll be back. All right, there is a 50% retracement, 27.83.50. That's a 50% retracement. We might get that tested, but according to the premium, that's a good place to go short. And short we are. All right, so here's our short signals on this. Now I'm going to explain why this signal isn't as good as the absent signal over here. Look at the premium. Now we said earlier that this spike up, that might get tested. That was right at the 50% retracement level. We do get it tested here, all right? However, look at where the premium is here. Now, yes, this compared to this, there's definite divergence on the raw data, and candidly, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to short that. And of course, we got a signal there, but on the average, it's a little bit higher than it is here. So there's a little bit of a conflict. But then when you get into this, you're definitely higher on the average, but you're lower on the actual raw data. So taking a short there, yeah. But taking a short here makes even more sense. 84.75, 84.50, and look at the divergence on the premium now. All right, so that makes, there's the logic behind all of that. And might we go all the way back up here again? I don't know. This has been a pretty crazy morning. Well, we are rallying back to the levels we were at the open. And when we look at the premium is going to be turning here momentarily. And so right around 87.50 to 87.75, I would think that this market is going to turn again. So these shorts just did not pan out. But we have a low volume node. Let's get that up here. Right in here, an area of repair. And so in here, maybe we go here, maybe we go to 88.75. Very difficult to say. But the premium is already beginning to turn. And we didn't even make it up that far. Here's our short signals here. Got another one just as we hit 87.25. And we'll come back. And here's our retracements between the high and the low of the morning. Premium, however, is turning up once again. Have to be cautious about this. We were right at 30.71. Let's get that 30.71 on JM8 2, and we're way above that right now on the average. Okay, we are back just to recap what took place through the balance of the morning and into the close. And we had mentioned that originally we had expected that this market was going to go even lower. Looking at the break of the trend line and the activity of the early morning, we were long until we took this short at the 92.50, and we expected this to continue on down. In fact, in looking at an ABC extension, we expected to get at least 72.75. But obviously that didn't happen. And we always look for an explanation as to why. Well, one reason could have been that the retracements between the 2814 high and the 2764 low brings us right about at 76. And so coming down a little bit further than that, well, that somewhat made sense. And that's about the only number that makes any sense as to why this may have pivoted. But let's look at the premium. Now these big lows on the premium were a pretty good indication that this market was going to continue lower. Frequently, although not always, when we get a big bar like this on the premium, it's a pretty good barometer of how the market's going to behave for a considerable length of time. That just wasn't the case here this morning, and it was really quite surprising what the market in fact did. Now, there's no doubt about the fact that if you look at the lows of the premium here, 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 okay, we're obviously going to go lower, and we do. But we're not going that much lower, and the premium is very divergent at that point. And so this market continued to move higher and higher and higher. And we were expecting this to turn and go down even further. So along the way up, we're really taking short trades in expectation that this is going to come back down. So let's just take a look at the premium here. So from this low, we begin to look at the highs. Now, I should back up just a bit. We can't ignore the fact that over here, this new high on the premium corresponded with the high here. And that's somewhat of a naked bar. Okay, so looking at a retracement back to 87.25 wasn't by itself a wrong decision. But this isn't. Let's get this real close. Look very carefully at this. Okay, this premium reversal in here corresponded with this high, not that high. Okay, so you couldn't say that this was going to come back and test this. In fact, this high, corresponding with the ES here at 85.50, was tagged a couple of times in here. So there really wasn't any basis for expecting a return to that price. Now, on the other hand, as we started to move up and we got this new high on the premium, okay, now that's not a new high for the day, but it's definitely a naked bar. We had already expected a test back at 83.50, and we got that. But let's look once again at how the premium is behaving. So just watch these highs, higher, higher, higher. We get up to this point, and you know what? There's really not much in the way of divergence on the average, but we're divergent here, and we short this and it goes nowhere. Now, looking at the high of the move here on the average compared to over here, we're just slightly. This is 38.59. We're 40 and change. We're still moving up. So if we let this cycle, okay, one more time, Okay, we're looking at the slow moving average here. Okay, you let this cycle back up and you come to this point here, and the market, or the premium that is quite divergent. So taking a short trade in here, that just made, tons of sense. All the same, the premium didn't continue to move lower. In fact, after that initial dip here, and it comes down to this point, look at where the premium is. The premium is still long. This thing is still moving up. So that is a real important thing to remember, okay? When you get into this low here, yeah, this is still divergent. You're still moving higher. Now, just a few moments later, you get a little different picture here. But you're still moving up. So now this price in here, all right, I'm just going to identify this for you. All right, it's past that. I just wanted to give you a heads up. All right, so right in here, I'm going to draw a nice weighty line. That's corresponding with this low on the premium. Okay, that price in there says there's something not quite right here. This is too low. So the price is right in here at about 90 and a half. Kind of suggests that ought to be tested. Now, let's watch as we continue to move up. We get another spike with a naked bar on the premium right in here, so we're still going to go higher. We're going to go higher than 93.50. So once you get there, which you do here, and you look at the premium, you can't help but want to short that. Yeah, that is so glaringly short. It's very, very clearly short in here. So you would want to short that. You'd want to hold that short in anticipation that this is going to come back down to 90.50. And you're at 95 at that point. So, that's a nice 5-point move there. But watch the premium. Okay, right as you come down and you start testing those prices, okay, what do you see happening here? Here you get another low. Now that's almost immediately after the move. So you've got to be measuring this once you come down and test that price, which you do here. And you're definitely divergent here. This compared to this, oh yeah. And then you test it again in here. And you've got to move up on the premium. Now, that little bar right there, that happened to be a naked bar, so you're definitely going to expect this is going to come back down again, and it does. But there was your heads up. This move down here gave you a good reason to definitely short this. And once you knew where it was going to come down to, and you're watching the premium and you see this is divergent, you're going right back up. Now, as you do, let's pull this down a little bit more. Now notice what happens. We come to this move on the premium, and we're not quite as high yet. Okay, so we've got to get back up to this high. So this doesn't really even count. We've got to get back, and that doesn't happen until here. And now the average is okay, are quite divergent, but you've got a naked bar up there as well. So it would be, it'd be a little tough, to say just exactly what you should do there. You, you've got reason to expect both a return to this price as well as the market to come down because you just don't have much in the way of strength here on the average. The raw data on the premium says yes, and we oftentimes want to go with that. But the averages make a lot of sense as well. So what happens, we failed to make a new high here. Now that should have been at least a good reason to think short, because inasmuch as this was forecasting a return to that price, the failure to make a new high here is a overbought situation. And the premium, again, as you move up here, compare this and this to where you're at here, you're divergent. This is coming down. So, and then you get some nice strong spikes down on the premium. Now, you'll still probably go back up here, but just not yet. There you have it. All right, let's take a look at some of the short signals on the automated system. So right in here at 10 o'clock, and then shortly thereafter at 10:10, these are nice short trades, which we're thinking short. And then as we watch the premium, we get a different a different story. But as we move into the low pullback, the strategy starts to go long. And long it was. There's another long trade. Until we get up in here. Okay, now there's your high. The strategy, this particular set of conditions on the strategy was all looking for long trades at that point. But we can set the strategy up to trade short. And we're going to look at those short trades right now. These are all set up for shorts. And there's where your shorts show up. Right there at the high. And that was good. So you could have made money in both directions today without much difficulty. There you have it. The default settings on the strategy have not been adjusted. The strategy code is the same. Every video you have seen from us, the strategy is the same. There's been no optimization. There's been no adjustments. The only thing that we ask is that you learn how to read the premium. Because not every signal that's going to be generated is going to read the premium the way it should be read. We just, the nuances of reading the premium require too much manual intervention, if you will. The discretion on the part of the trader who understands how to read the premium is going to tell you whether or not it makes sense to pull trades when the strategy is executing. So there is discretion involved, and that it should always be that way. All the same, this thing is making money, and it's doing a really good job at it. So we invite you to make use of this system. It works. It works consistently. The premium doesn't lie. All right. The biggest problem is that you hang on to some preconceived notion of where the market's going to go and what it's going to do next, and the premium is going to make you a liar out of it 9 times out of 10. Premium works. If you don't know how to read it, you need to. We'll teach you. And the system that we use works under any market conditions. So with that thought in mind, come ask for a demo, give us a call, and we'll be happy to set you up. We'll spend a good amount of time with you to show you how we do this and make all of these tools available to you. I'm Rod Kusanen, Spooman for Risk.